Take me out to left field. Give me a shot of Fireball. Give me some high fives from Mark Pena and a hug from Jeff Cross as we stand on top of the tables. Hearing the horns, that's a blast. For it's 1, 2, 3 shots from the cannon with the ladies of left field.
Hey, y'all. It's game time with the ladies of left field. Jordan here with Casey.
Hello.
And sorry we missed you last week. We all just got a little busy. I had the ACC Women's Lacrosse Tournament, which was 7 games in 5 days and super fun, but a whole lot of lacrosse. And everybody else had a lot of stuff going on. So we're happy to get back with you guys. We got a series win in baseball, some draft news. Stars are trying to hurt my feelings, but we'll see if they can hold on. Which brings me to my hot girl headline, which is that the Stars are in an elimination game. Technically, y'all will probably just have to find out our reaction from our to how that game went from our Instagram or something, because Stars are down 3-2 to the Wild, but they play on Thursday night, and hopefully things will go well and they'll keep playing into the weekend. But the Hurricane and the Avalanche are the only 2 teams who have swept their opening round series. So those are the only 2 that are confirmed into the next round. And the winner of the Stars Wild will play the Avalanche next. So I read a couple conspiracy theories too that the NHL is pushing for the Stars to win so that there is a Stars Avs rematch in the next round. But
yeah.
It's on Twitter. It's nothing very serious, but still I could see it.
Well, I mean, I didn't get to watch last night, but I mean they've had, hasn't there been 3 overtime games in this series?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that sounds right, because Saturday was an overtime.
Yes.
Which, of course, I had been watching and then was in my car going to park at the Shane Smith concert when the Wild scored the overtime goal. I was like, well, at least I get to go listen to Shane Smith, because otherwise I would be really, really mad right now.
Yeah. I know, because I was watching that one at Armadillo Den, and all of a sudden I was like, dang it,
right? Yeah. So we'll see how that plays out Thursday. Hopefully they're still playing by the time this drops, because otherwise I'll be very sad next week.
I know.
Catch up.
Well, I saw one little thing, because I saw that Jamie Benn got fined for a double cross check or something in last night's game. And then there was a quote that he's like, we knew this would be going, 7 games, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, okay, well, good. Start playing like it then, please.
Get on it.
Yeah, win. You need to win the next game for sure. And then they won.
Yeah.
Well, my hot girl headline is coming up is the NFL draft kind of wrap up from this past weekend, or last Thursday and Friday. I'll kind of start with the Dallas Cowboys, since that's what I care about when it comes to that part of it. They went really heavy on defense, which I was all for sure, based on last year, and maybe, having been the worst defense in the league. So they got 2 first-round draft picks, Caleb Downs and Malachi. I don't know if that's how you
say. Malachi.
Okay, Lawrence. Both in the first round. Caleb Downs is supposed to be superbly good. It's just so excited for that. And then, like I said, they took other players that were defense. They took 2 offensive players, but basically were very heavy on defense, which is what we need for sure from a Cowboys standpoint. But Caleb Downs is from Ohio State. They had 4 players taken in the first round, which was,
that's wild.
But so I looked that up today just randomly, and shockingly, that's not a record. The Miami Hurricanes had 6 players drafted in the first round in 2004. I was like, wow.
Okay. I was like, wow. I figured also Alabama would have been up there.
Yes, and Alabama has had 4 before as well. So having 4 is not unheard of, but it's obviously it's also not, the norm either. So that's kind of that thing. So from a Longhorn point of view or standpoint, Anthony Hill was our highest drafted Longhorn. He went in the second round to Tennessee. Then we had Malik Muhammad go to Cleveland in the 4th round, and then appeared to really love the Longhorns. They drafted 3 of our guys: Trey Moore in the 4th round, Michael Taft in the 5th, DJ Campbell in the 6th. Who, and they of course joined Quinn Ewers. So Miami is becoming kind of like another Longhorn stacked team for those of us that like to follow that kind of stuff. I'm totally fine with it because you've got the Broncos and the Dolphins now that have lots of Longhorns, and they're in the AFC, so we might meet up with the Cowboys one game, but they're not going to.
You don't have to root against them very often.
Not going to affect our playoffs, our division, any of that kind of jazz. And then Jack Endries was our last Longhorn drafted. He went to Cincinnati in the 7th round, and then we had 7 other guys signed with teams. Kind of that immediate. Once you didn't get drafted, you can sign on with a team. So 7 other guys at least have their shot at making a team. So it's still a good go overall. Probably it keeps the trend going. Not as high and as many as the past 2 years, but having 13 guys get a chance in the NFL is not nothing to shake your head at.
And that's not, I don't think that was a surprise either.
No, not at all.
After the last couple of years, that's just how it was going to be. I wasn't super dialed into the draft, but I did love the whole, because I'm petty, the whole Diego Pavia going undrafted and then going to Baltimore where good luck beating out Lamar.
Yeah, I saw I didn't even really know. I didn't really keep up with it either myself, to be honest, except for seeing who Dallas picked the first night. But yeah, and then I saw that after the fact, and I was like, "Oops, he had another one of those situations." That
sir had a whole party and everything.
Yeah, yep. Well, this is this should be like a kind of like a little example to other guys up and coming.
Absolutely.
You may think that you're untouchable or whatever in how you act, but you're not. And there are people watching. Like our parents always said, people are watching you. Watch how you act.
And nowadays, it's got to be so much worse too. Just the more social media, more everything, where people are posting everything. I know we've talked about this before, but you do, and the internet never goes away. So you do something dumb, and it gets posted once, it's never going to go away. So
yeah, they can find it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Anyway, but that's awesome for Texas. Like I said, I wasn't super dialed in, so I knew I'd seen some stuff trickling in, but now hearing you go through everything all at once, that's awesome.
Yeah, and I think Michael Taft, we all, of course, everybody loves Michael Taft.
Yeah.
And most people, everybody, that has followed Texas knows his story. So that still is also another, just a pretty cool thing that, for him to get drafted. And it's, I think it's amazing that he gets to go back and be with Quinn. So I'm just super excited about all of them kind of being together because, I don't know about Trey Moore. I don't know if Trey, I can't remember if he was only here 1 year or 2 years. So if he was only here,
I think Trey was here, would have probably crossed paths within 2 years. I think.
Okay. Well, he was the one from UTSA, so
correct, but he had a gazillion years left when he got here somehow. Because I remember every year I would be like, "What? How is Trey Moore still here?"
Okay, we're good. That means they all know each other, so that's cool to me.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. Well, other Longhorn things, we can go around the horns before we get into baseball, just because we got a lot of, I guess, postseason stuff starting. Men's and women's tennis start NCAAs this week.
Yep. So we're hosting a regional in Austin, and then hopefully weather permitting. I did ask my coworker who is she came from a facilities background. And so I was asking about that. And she said, when it comes to this, she goes, it'll literally be somebody from Indianapolis making a decision on the rain and where it moves. If it moves, because on Friday, if it's raining all day, the tennis center's outdoors, but they can move out to the UT club and play indoor. But so it's that decision can't be made by a Austin person, by a UT person. It has to be made by NCAA. And they may have somebody on site, but
yeah. And I guess that's I've never really thought about it too. Could they postpone it, push it a day more because I'm thinking a bunch of people can't go watch or wouldn't watch.
That I don't know. I don't know if they have a limit on their time frame of I would imagine that they have a day built in for weather because I can't imagine that you have. I don't know how many sites there are, but there's 16, I think. So
yeah,
there's not 16 schools that have some kind of off the chart indoor facility. I wouldn't think, and it's the higher seeds, they're the ones that are hosting. So that's just kind of but it's just interesting that that's happening. We have men's and women's. Our men's number 2 seed, women's are number 9. So I think the men have a, super good shot at, getting there. They've been really good all year. They've been consistently good all year. So there's, and we've got a nice little contingent of, tennis followers here. There's always people out there. So the whole area will be busy this weekend, right at that little complex with that going on. And then we can jump into softball. They have a Thursday, Friday, Saturday series with Arkansas this week. And I don't know if you want to talk a little bit more about how we're doing in softball.
Yeah. So softball's it's funny because they're not like, I feel like they're not sweeping series, so I feel like we're not as high on them. But Texas and A&M tied for 4th behind OU, Florida, Alabama, which the Florida Alabama is like a tied at 2nd. So
yeah,
we'll see. But A&M plays, so A&M's gonna drop then because A&M's playing OU this week.
That's what I was thinking.
Patty Gasso's over there. She's just on a revenge tour after last year, I guess. Like,
yeah.
Oof. But then SEC tournament starts next week, and the top 4 seeds get 2 byes. 5 through 9 get 1 bye. That I kind of like that too, because at least
everybody gets a chance.
Everyone gets a shot, which I do like that. Everyone gets a shot. And a single elimination, so you get your 1 shot. But I like that format now after going through seeing a couple different conference things happening. It's good to at least give everyone a shot. So weird like lacrosse tangent. There are some teams that were like in essentially the top 25 or near the top of the ACC that didn't even play in the ACC tournament the way that things shook out because they only take 8 of the 13 programs.
Oh, wow.
So
okay.
Oh yeah. So after like seeing that and just watching the teams too, I'm like, it makes sense to at least let everybody have 1 shot.
Yeah, and if it's gonna be single elimination, you might as well, because you can knock that out. And I don't know.
And you get the top team bye, so it's not like you're wearing out the top teams.
Exactly. Right.
So
it's kind of but I was, I looked too, and I felt like we've had a little mid-season struggle off and on, but it's like our record. Those losses all came in the SEC. I mean, we've hit a little rough patch there, but then we bounced back this past weekend, swept Kentucky. So, and then having Arkansas here, that should. I'm like, and then I looked up when it was OU playing A&M. I'm like, well, that's more than likely they're going to draw.
that's helpful for us, I guess.
But I did look, and they do the tiebreaker is the standard head-to-head competition. So had we been tied, or if we were to remain tied with A&M, we would advance with the higher seed because we took 2 of 3 in our series. So, we're good to go there.
Yeah, so we'll find that out. All right.
Yes.
Oh, and Tegan Cavan, Katie Stewart also named top 25 finalists for USA Softball's Collegiate Player of the Year.
Oh yeah. And then last weekend, I think I must have seen a highlight. But Reese Atwood and Leanne Good got those something. I guess that softball league. They go and give them
golden tickets for the USL. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So that was pretty cute. I mean, because I don't know if Leanne Good thought she looked shocked.
Well, fair. And that's not that Leanne's not good. There are so many other names, Like
yeah. So she just had that like shocked look. Reese Atwood, I would imagine nobody's that's expected or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I thought that was pretty cool. I mean, I was seeing a highlight and I was like, what is that? What's going on? And then they kind of, said something about it afterward, in the commentary or whatever. But, and then, beach volleyball is kind of like, I didn't even, it's like out of nowhere, just boom, boom, boom. I didn't pay attention to any kind of social media this weekend to know anything about how good they had done. And so they won their 2nd conference championship, although I get confused about these conferences they're in.
Yeah. I go this weekend to do the Big 12 Women's Lacrosse Championship, and I'm doing that in Gainesville.
Yeah.
And the teams in there are Florida, UC Davis, Arizona State, and Colorado.
Yeah.
I was like, where are y'all picking these up from? But man, conferences in these small sports hopefully eventually all the sports will pick up enough that it can be a little.
Yeah. I mean, I know that the competition is good because most, you've got schools, all the schools from California, they're all in this. So, and then for us to have beaten UCLA, I believe it was twice, but whichever, it was either UCLA or USC, whichever one was like number one. We ended up beating them twice and we won that whole thing. And so now we're the number 2 seed and they get to have their NCAA tournament in Gulf Shores, Alabama, which that is not bad at all.
That looks beautiful. I've watched that tournament a couple because the Texas was in it last year too.
Yeah.
It looks so nice.
And all of those for anybody that's like, wanting to either you already are a beach volleyball fan or you want to become one. Those matches are all going to be on ESPN2, which is really cool. And the championship match on Sunday will be on ESPN. So I think it's like great that they're getting this kind of, publicity, recognition, all that kind of stuff. So exciting for our beach volleyball program, which it's only been in existence for like 4 years. I mean, and the first year was we didn't even really have our head coach. Jared Elliott coached the first year just to get it going. So this Coach Metzger guy
took them 1 year to kind of get their feet under them, and then
taking off. So
yeah. Oh, all right. That's it. That's awesome. I didn't realize that it was this fast, like that everything is in the weekend. That's awesome.
I know. Yeah. Theirs was like boom, boom, boom. Like, women's golf, they'll get the announcement on their stuff next week. And then men's golf is the week after that. So, everything starts to trickle into the wrapping up. Baseball is just the one that goes the longest. And so, and even though it's like, I don't know, the way the calendar falls this year, I feel like baseball is like, we're almost over. I mean, we're not. We still have 3 weeks. But then all of a sudden it's the SEC tournament there, and here we go, So.
Yeah, it's going to fly.
Yes.
Once we get there.
Yeah. And so
speaking of baseball.
I'll do kind of a rundown since I did a little more, watched more of it.
You watched what you did.
2 of 3 from Vanderbilt. So it was kind of each game was different. Friday night was all us. We dominated hitting. We had 4 home runs total. Aiden Robbins had 2, so he continues to have a hot bat, which is great. Dylan Volantis continued to be great, struck out 11. Then I think there was one little inning of pitching that kind of was wobbly, and that was what eliminated being able to run rule them. They scored some runs, so then it had to go the whole game. And then Cozart came in and closed it down. Cozart's proving to be he's the stud closer, in my opinion.
Super clutch, yeah.
And that's, dominant. This Saturday game was all Vanderbilt and not us. Ruger got knocked around pretty quickly and was pulled out fast. And then we couldn't hit. We only had 5 hits and we had 2 errors. So that just wasn't a good game at all. Got shut out. So that was a ugly game on Saturday. So then Sunday, being our decisive rubber match game, was the best game. I mean, that was total competition, kind of back and forth, intense. 4-3 win for Texas in 10 innings, and showed what's the right word? Oh, I don't want to use here right. Patience at the plate, because we basically our decisive winning run was with bases loaded walk. So that was
dang.
You had to get the people on, but being patient there. And then and Luke Harrison had a good game. He did well. He was in 4 1/3 or 2/3 innings and struck out 7. And then it was kind of like a pitching by committee. But Cozart came in for the last 3 innings and was dominant and was like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And there were quotes that he told, like, going out before the 10th inning, he told Schloss, he's like, I'm going to die for this team out here on the mound. Like, you're not taking me out. So, and he had to they had runners on 2nd and 3rd, I believe. I know they had a runner on 3rd with 1 out in the bottom of the 10th. And then he got the last 2 out. He struck them both out. So I know he struck out the final out, and that was great.
Mhm.
That was as excited as I've seen Schloss. After
I can't
like,
imagine. You also say that's a good point. I don't think we have had an episode since they changed up the rotation either
yeah,
and
right,
moved Harrison to day 3, Sunday, for
yeah,
all intents and purposes, unless it's
right.
Thursday start. Um, but it seems, I don't really have the numbers, but seems to be working.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's fine. I don't know if we're just as I wasn't watching closely on Saturday night. I mean, I had it on my phone, so I wasn't seeing. So I don't know if he was just kind of like if he was throwing bad pitches or just throwing them, like if they were just teeing off on him
Mhm.
or kind of what was happening. But hopefully he'll get that figured out. But just because I think just the atmosphere and knowing that Vanderbilt was kind of starting to think they've had like a tough season, but I think they were starting to be on a higher, an improved trajectory. And so you didn't want to let them, we needed to get that series win. So we
Yeah.
still have only lost one series to A&M, but that I think that leads the SEC in terms of that. Or
Series wins.
every SEC team has lost a series. Nobody
Correct.
has been straight through.
Correct. And I mean, Texas is still right in the mix in the SEC standings because it's
Right.
Georgia, A&M, us, and then this weekend's opponent, Mississippi State. So Texas is 11-6, State's 11-8, A&M's 12-5. Like it's a big weekend this weekend.
Yes.
Is what I'll say.
Yes.
Hopefully I'll get to watch more than I did this past weekend. But Mississippi State's number 10 in the country, so we'll see. That'll be an exciting one, and they bring a good tailgate too.
Yes, they're definitely coming in. Like last year we swept them.
Yeah,
right out of the gate. In Starkville. I think this is probably a completely different team. Kind of deal. That whole situation. But yes, left field should be quite fun this weekend. We've got our Katie's husband, and so if y'all aren't hearing Katie's voice, she's coaching her daughter's volleyball game or volleyball matches tonight. But double header in volleyball. But Mark made friends with several of the guys in Starkville last year. I forgot their nicknames.
Is Lounge Dog one?
Lounge Dog, yes, that's
okay.
And I guess his crew, and so they're coming, and they're supposedly bringing their smokers, small smokers, travel smokers, but like that they're going to be cooking all weekend. So we're all excited to meet these guys. Those of us that did not. Yeah, those of us did not go to Starkville last year. So, and Barn and I have 2 guys coming in. Cody's coming to stay with us. Cody, our big time Longhorn fan from Mississippi. And then our other friend, Nick, who some listeners heard last year, he's an LSU guy, but he also likes the Longhorns when it's not against LSU. So those guys are both coming in and staying with us. So Barn and I are getting ourselves amped up for entertaining.
That'll be a fun one.
Although entertaining just means going to Dish Falk, but
getting everybody to the dish, maybe to Matt's, and maybe one other brunch place.
we are going to Matt's tomorrow night. So,
good. Okay.
So, anyway, that's I feel like that's about all we got.
Yeah. Oh, wait. I mean, we didn't really touch on Tuesday. Tuesday was just weird. Oh, like I was watching the Stars, so I tuned in at the very end when it was. I had one TV on Texas and one TV on the Stars, and so I was like, okay, why are we tied right now? Why?
Yeah, Tuesday. The Tuesday games right now are starting to be frustrating. I'm frustrated with our pitching on Tuesdays. So all these arms that need to find their opportunities are not taking advantage. Hudson Hamilton did pretty good last night in the middle, but clearly it was an offensive game when we win 15-14. We did show lots of tenacity. We were down 9-3. And so they had hit a grand slam home run. So it was like, oh my gosh. And they were very vocal and loud. I mean, you could hear them, you could watching TV, you could hear their dugout. They were way into it. And we chipped away, got tied it up, then they went ahead again. Then we went ahead of them, and then they went ahead of us. And we came back. So like in the 9th inning, they took a 2-run lead.
Yep.
And we came back and had scored 3 to win the game. Carson Tenney with the heroics last night with his home run. Aiden Robbins also had a home run last night. I think this was the only 2 home runs, but for us. And then lots of good hitting though. I'm very, very impressed with Pack. I continue to love him. He's like,
that's awesome. Yeah.
Like even over the Vanderbilt weekend, I was like, definitely like him. So, and then they got different, our fielding is back to normal with A-Rod back at shortstop. So now Hudson Hamilton did have an error. He had a guy picked off at third, and then he just overthrew Timo, just like sailed it right over his head.
Oh,
so,
you know what? Oops.
Yeah. So there's some of those things. And so I guess it's just kind of, I was definitely like, you've got the yay for the coming back and, all that. But
right, the win. But still, why are you in that situation where you have to hit a walk-off home run in the 9th against?
Yes. Yeah. Let's get this pitching stuff kind of figured out. I mean, I know that there's plenty of good pitchers, but it's like we need the ones that are going to come in to be also solid.
Yeah.
When it gets into a tournament time when you have multiple days in a row. Eventually.
That's the thing, because the SEC tournament's Wednesday to Sunday. I mean, and you could be playing in theory. Texas won't probably because they're top, but they're in the top 4 or 5. But still, you could be playing how many days in a row? 4? Yeah. 3, 4. And when you get to Omaha, same deal. You could be playing how many days in a row where you're going to need 4 to 5 trustworthy arms plus the pin.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the regionals. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that's back to
back. Yeah.
Unless you win your first 2, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Anyway. So yeah, it'd be nice to know that you have some trustworthy arms, that the 4th trustworthy arm.
Yes.
Is huge.
Yes.
So we'll see. But I'm excited for this Mississippi State. I kind of was lost in the lacrosse haze, but when I was getting ready to record this, I realized Mississippi State is this weekend. I was like, oh dear, that's a big one.
Yep.
So
yeah, I think we've been looking forward to this one for quite some time. So it's gonna be fun.
Awesome.
It'll be fun.
Awesome. Well, I will be thinking of all y'all in left. Yeah, I'll be thinking of y'all in left field, and Casey will see y'all in left field.
I will see you in left field.